The inerrancy people in America and Canada and Western Europe, most of our Western world, particularly the English-speaking world, have really gone soft and Laodicean and plus heretical, I mean liberal. And so we don't see vibrant, vital Christianity very much where we are in America and other parts of the Western world. But all throughout Africa and through many places in Asia and through South America and Central America, and even in places in the Mideast, Christianity is booming like mad. It's growing like mad numerically, and people are moving into gutsy Christianity. Christianity where you have to pay with your life or your job, or you're taking a risk. And here for years it's been that if you want to get good with a community, you join a church. That's one way to kind of advance your real estate or Amway business or whatever. So, but anyway, what I'm saying is we're like living in a kind of a liberal bubble in the Western world, in America, Canada, and Europe, where Christianity is surviving, and there's a lot of great stuff going on. There are great godly men I'm proud of, forming organizations, doing things that are, we have probably a longer list of Christian leaders that we can be proud of in America now than we had 20, 40, 60, 80 years ago. They're looking good. However, in general, the whole culture is going downhill fast, and just as evangelical Christianity church statistics went up the graph, going the other direction on the graph was the culture and the morals and the whole deterioration of American society. But in these other nations, the third world nations, way out there, awesome Christianity is going on. In fact, 2 books just came out on about China. China is predicted by sociologists now there's a book called Jesus in Beijing, and another book that I refer to. I have a couple newsletters, and my brother Bob has a newsletter that has this exact quote in it from the book and so on. It's a Chinese scholar who predicts that China will be by 2030, in another 15 years, will be the largest Christian nation in the world. And Christians now, I have a buddy of mine who is a brilliant physicist, and I want to let people like you know that he's invented a new type of switch for all computers of the world called a light switch. All the computers of the world, the switching to make things go fast inside the computer are all electronic switches. He's invented a switch that works by light, and it makes things about 1,000 times faster than the computers work now. He's trying to find investors for this, but he was in China for a few years and got a hold of the culture a bit. And he tells me 2 things. One, the underground church is growing, according to the leaders of the underground church, the illegal church, by 20,000 people a day. 20,000 new Christians. This is beyond the birth and death rate. 20,000 people that love Jesus and are willing to be illegal if necessary to serve him. Willing to be considered illegal by the 20,000 they are poured into the bloodstream of the culture of communist China. Secondly, he tells me a number of communist businessmen that he met and worked with were telling him, you know, we don't believe in Christianity, but it's our policy now in our business, the people that make these things that come over to America at Costco and Walmart and everywhere. These guys that own these companies are intentionally hiring Christians to fill their offices and their industrial top positions because they're dependable and they're honest. They don't do drugs. They don't have a nihilistic view of life. They're more dependable. They're better human beings. And so communist businessmen are hiring Christians intentionally. It's part of their plan to make a better business, to make it stronger. Awesome. Well, like the Roman Empire, Christians took over the Roman Empire by just being good Christians. Just being, that's how we can do it. I wanted to leave with some more optimism here, leave this session with some more optimism. My friend Ralph Winter, who's now passed on, launched the U.S. Center for World Mission in Pasadena, which is a bunch of sociologists and scholars and a whole cluster of people coming in and out of mission fields to deal with current situations and computer trends and all of this. It's kind of a think tank, actually, in Pasadena for missions. And they did a survey of the ratio of non-Christians to Christian from 100 AD on. And in 100 AD, by looking at church rolls, historical church member rolls and so on, and estimating what the world population was, they found out that they claim that in 100 AD, the ratio of non-Christians to Christian was 360 to 1. And by about 1000 AD, another 900 years, it was something like a 200 to 1. It was growing. By the Reformation, it had really gone, it changed. I forget, but I think it was 69 to 1. But by 1900 AD, it was 21 to 1. Now, so that's quite a growth right there. Every century, Christianity has been growing more. Now, it's not that all the people in the statistics are hot Christians that love the Bible and are totally obedient. There'd be a lot of nominal Christians and all of that. We know that. But still, allowing for all that, that's impressive statistics. So that then by 1950, let me look at my notes here, excuse me. By 1980, it was 13 to 1. By 1900, it was 21 to 1. By 1980, it was 13 to 1. By 2010, it was 7 to 1. And I just took a graph paper and graphed year by year and so on, and I saw that if the growth of Christianity on a global scale was the same the next 30 years, or somewhat the same next 30 years, as it was the 30 years between 1980 and 2010, that 30 years, the ratio of Christian to non-Christian would be 1 to 1 at the same growth rate in 2046, just 30 years from now. We don't know if that'll happen, and we don't even know what that would really mean. How many of those would be the kind of Christians that are in China now, willing to suffer for the Lord. But that's interesting to me. And Christianity's always been a minority in a world of non-Christians. I'll be interested in that. Well, I wanted to say in closing that I'm really impressed with what I see here in Rocky Bayou Christian School. This is exactly what we need. I'm not surprised it's considered about the 5th greatest Christian school in America. I want to encourage you in what you're doing, in focusing on the worldview that this is God's world. He's given us the book on how to do it. We live by the book. We interpret all of reality through this grid of the Bible that God gave us. And that is what God wants. And basically, on a more or less a cause and effect way God built the universe with all of his predestination worked in there to do what he wants to do with any individual life, it's much better to follow him. And nothing else works. So the people that oppose him, these atheists, socialists, relativists that are trying to operate as if there is no God, as if there are no absolutes, and if there are no absolute rules for how I'm to treat you and you're to treat me, they are going to increasingly self-destruct. They are self-destructing, and if we just had time to wait around, we'd see it. And right now, the world looks really horrendous. It could be scary if you didn't believe in a sovereign God. To me, the sovereignty of God is probably the most important thing that keep hanging on to. That He really is sovereign. He knows what He's doing in every life and in every country. Every ruler that comes to power, he had a whole lot to do with arranging for that, and he's got his reasons that he hasn't told us yet why evil men rise to power and so on. But these guys are going to lose big. We're on the winning side. And I think, here it is, 2016. Boy, I think I'm praying the Lord will let me live for another 30 years with enough health and energy to do whatever I'm supposed to do. I need to make it through the next 6 years to do church councils, but I'm praying for another 30 years, to be 110. That was, I think, what, that was Joseph, I think, lived 110. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm looking forward to encouraging, working with anybody that is like you guys. What you've got here, the community here, based on the biblical worldview and what I see of the love and the seriousness of what you're doing, this is so awesome. I wish we could clone Rocky Bayou Christian School and send it out to about 900 cities. Yeah. So thank you for letting me come. And Bob, my buddy, it's so good to be with him. I'm looking forward to this time. Thank you. I don't think there's probably time for question and answers, but I'm going to stick around, and if anybody wants to talk about anything, I'll be here as long as anybody wants to talk.
Are those books out available?
Yeah, there's a box there. Should I get the box?
Ruth, you see the box on the floor? Maybe set them up, and there's a red bow there if you want to keep one. I think Amazon.com has them for over double $5. So.
Yeah, well, we're charging $5 a book. The real price is $20, but we're charging $5.